such a joy and truly an honor. You know, I care about Hiccup in this world so much, and I love these characters. So do so many other people. So going into it, I just wanted to do my best to do the character justice. Now you go.
It was a real. I mean, it says it's just a real honor, and I think there is something quite stressful about it, about taking on characters that are so beloved and that we both love so much. But I think there is something also really stop. There's also something really cathartic and like full circle about getting to see yourself as a version of something that you looked up to as a child is really amazing. Stepping into it for the first time, I can't look at you while we do this.
Okay, go ahead.
Stepping into it for the first time was crazy. I mean, I remember the first time we were together and we went into the arena and we went into.
I didn't even do anything that time. That's you.
And we went into the village. That was a version of this movie where they could have just CG'd everything, and so I think the fact that they made such hyper realistic practical sets. I mean, there was one day where they even had a fish. Stop. I'm gonna finish this. They had a fish. There was a really weird smell on set in the village, and we're like, "What is that? It smells awful." And they were like, "Oh, it's the fish hut."
Yeah, they built like a fish house.
And we were like, "What do you mean, a fish hut?" And we went in, and there was like raw fish, rotten, hanging all over the house, and then a fan,
they put into
and then a fan blowing it into the village. And we were like, "Why are you doing this?" And they were like, "For ambience, for the vibes." And me and Mason were like, turn off the fan. It was horrible, but it really does make it so that when you're on set, it's just you're totally in it, and it was very, very.
Yeah, it was really easy to really just step on set, and they really put you in that world. So it wasn't much.
You don't have a choice.
It wasn't too hard on that end, so it was nice. A lot of people have pets, and they love them so much, and they can see a lot of their pet in Toothless, and that's what I take away from it. Is every time you watch like a character like that, especially Toothless or something, you can really just put your pet into that movie and watch that, and you just love it so much. And
Me and Mason watched the movie in Brazil recently, and the entire time I was being like, "Mason, Toothless is adorable," and he was like, "Yes, I know," and I kept being like, "No, you don't understand."
There was a lot of different emotions going on because it took 4 hours to do the first costume fitting. There was so much to put on and to get it right, to make it fit, that my back was breaking, and I actually left full of fear because I thought, I can't wear this costume. This whole movie's going to fall apart because I can't wear this costume. But when it was finished and I stepped out, I felt like it was a metamorphosis. It was a transformation. It made it a lot of stepping into Stoick. I didn't even have to think about because I was there. I already felt this man, this chieftain, this power, and then the work was almost in going in the opposite direction and understanding the emotions, the grapple, the struggle, the contradictions within that, because I had this, because the costumes were so incredible, as was the hair and makeup, So I could transform and then dive into the journey and just play in the sandbox, but really get into the details, especially with my son. When you're doing the animation, sometimes you got to go for a more generalized idea. You only have your voice, so you're kind of like, here's the point we're making here. Here's the point we're making, and it works and it's powerful. But here, you can give 5 colors, all these nuances sometimes in one word. You can express your grief, your self-deprecation, your command, all in the same moment. So I feel like, and I don't just mean that for me, but for all the actors, that you're wringing a lot more out of each moment. And again, I just watched it again the other night, and that's what I was thinking. There's story within story within story in every character, in every moment. There's not a moment wasted, and and it feels like every moment is infused with meaning or joy or entertainment or thrill or fear or emotion, and it's rare. I gotta say, even in all my movies, I might go, that's great. Oh God, it just dropped away. Oh, that's good. This movie never drops. You're always engaged, compelled, moved, and that was great to be a part of that challenge. Dean took me around and said, here's the biggest Viking ship ever built, and here's your Great Hall, which felt like a mini skyscraper, and look, here's the arena, which felt like the Colosseum, and here's Berk, and then you see them all dressed up and lit and filled with life and breathing, and the heart is pumping, and all this. It is, you don't get. I've never had those opportunities before to transport so much into a world, and like if that's happening for me, I 100% know that when that world is augmented and finished, then the audience are going on such a ride, such an incredible ride. Is Lionheart one word? You know, Dragonheart. No, he's courageous, sensitive, and loyal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
For me, the first thing I shot was in the training arena. And I hadn't really seen, I'd seen the outside of it and I hadn't seen much of it. And then I had like a big dialogue heavy scene my first day. And then I got onto the set and they open these huge, massive doors, which apparently they found the wood that they used to make the doors in the bottom of the sea in Belfast Harbour. So you can't really see it, but if you look at the doors, all the wooden doors have little barnacles on, and you just look at them thinking, this is amazing, it's incredible. But I had to do a scene in front of all the Viking extras and all the crew, and it was really nerve-wracking, I said to Dean, the director, can you see me trembling? He's like, no, it's fine. But it's a lot, it's a lot to, I think you have to kind of wrangle that part of your brain, which is the bit that's traditionally used to keep you alive if you come across like a male gorilla in the jungle or a wolf, it's the bit that says run. I think you have to learn to harness that and tell it that it's fine, you're all right, you're fine, you're not a real dragon. I don't know if this is true, but I think Toothless he's like a lovely big cat, and I think people love cats. I love cats, certainly, and I think that's why I like Toothless so much. That's just Dean scrolling Instagram, I think. I don't think they set out to just watch. It was Dean watching cat videos. There's a scene when me and Gerard are in the Great Hall and he's addressing the Vikings, and then they all file out, and then we kind of pan across to see Gobber's left, and they have like a big conversation about, you're not going to be around to protect him every day. I loved shooting that. I loved the fact it was just me and Gerard and Dean, and we sat and we talked about it for ages, and we rehearsed it, and we were like, well, maybe we were, but it felt like we were making a film, even though the hall was enormous, and you kind of, if you were to stop and look around, you get a real sense of the size of it. But once it's just you and the other actors and the director and the DOP, and you're doing that kind of walk in terms of this, I stand here and then you come through here, and that felt amazing. And then, I'm a fan of actors. I love to work with actors, and I love to watch what they're doing. And there is a part of me that if I do my work right, if I do enough planning, I don't seem to have to act. It just happens, My brain just does it, which allows me to look out through my eyes at Gerard Butler acting, and I'm like, that's Gerard Butler acting. I can enjoy his performance at the same time, And I love that. That's why I really like that scene.
Nervous. I don't know about you guys. I was, I grew up with these films, and I loved them. So I guess everything was kind of, I was like a little kid inside, but outside I was quite cool, calm and collected.
Yeah, you came across super.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, I appreciate that.
We started on the biggest set, and we sort of worked our way down, sort of. Not
no, because then we went to the.
Then we went to the village.
Yeah.
Oh.
So actually, we started on it was a roller coaster.
Sets, but it was sort of like the most daunting ones earlier on.
And it kind of felt like, in a way, in the nicest way possible, like we were touring the sets. I remember we did the tour, and they're like, yeah, we've had like 1,000 guys like working on this village, and there's like 90,000 different house panels, and you go, yeah, my job doesn't feel as important right now because how much effort and like heart and soul is going
so
into
many
it.
moving parts.
And like the tapestries and things like that. It's like amazing, like hand woven tapestries.
Like
I
the
think
history of the Berk and stuff.
And so I think even just like stepping into that world where how much skill and like love has gone into every single component. It was like, better remember my lines.
Yeah.
And sometimes I did.
For me, I don't know about anyone else, but it was like equal parts the most fun time I've had with the character, and also deeply terrifying because these characters are so near and dear to us. It was interesting trying to find thread the needle of bringing enough heart into it from the originals, and also making it our own.
Yeah, no, but it was totally that.
Yeah.
And it's nice coming to something, because you always end being quite fond of your character, I think, but coming to something and you already love them.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. It's such a treat.
I loved putting on my wig as well. Oh,
You in that wig?
I loved it. It was so much
Wigs
fun.
are the best.
Yeah.
And there was quite a big process of that wig, wasn't there?
There was a
Yeah.
process that we will not speak on.
We will not speak on.
Just trying to make each other giggle. That's
Yeah.
sort of it. It's just like knowing what was lovely is like very early on, like knowing what would sort of make each other go, and
Yours
trying to then
was-
do that. Yeah.
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 Which I'd love you to do on camera actually.
And I'm not trying to flatter anyone, but these are very good people, and it was very enjoyable. And I think everyone here has like worked with people, and you're glad you're not working with them anymore. Like, let's be honest. Like, but with these people, it's like, you know, I just enjoy.
No,
I
it
just
was-
enjoyed.
it was-
I
it was
enjoyed
so-
going to
it
set.
was so-
We
it
all
was
stayed in
so
the same
easy and so
apartment.
lovely.
Well,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
same apartment, but the same apartment building. And
I was
like,
in yours.
dinner with- yeah, we were
Yeah.
in the same
Bunk
bed.
beds,
Actually,
yeah.
it was quite
Gorgeous.
nice.
Top and tail.
But no, it was totally that. It was such an easy and lovely dynamic, and also because being on set, you're spending so much time together, and especially it was filmed in January in Belfast. It was freezing, and so it was just sort of like just manic jokes being told that I'm sure if we heard them again, we wouldn't be able to remember where they came from, or even if they were funny. But at
Yeah.
the time, hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was like we were there for a little while before the like adult characters got there, so it did feel a little bit like the parents weren't home.
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
yeah.
nice. And then
That's
they
fine.
all got here, and we were like, oh, okay, Gerard Butler.
Yeah, we did. You know, we did kind of feel like, oh, you know, we had a little group on set, and we were excited to see each other, and so I think it was nice.
He's so cute. Oh my god. Yeah. It's so I love my favorite scene with him is when it's like Mason slowly trying to like befriend him, and it just being that kind of that slow build. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me and my girlfriend, we watched it together, and there's like this one scene in the film where he kind of puts his foot, or I guess his paw, up on the ledge, and it just looks so cute. He's just got like this chunky little paw, so that's probably my favorite part. Yeah.
It's like a giant cat.
I just want to bite it.
It is bizarre to come from an animation background where we draw and we paint and we sculpt things in the computer and make digital sets, to then film it for real where we actually build the sets. You can walk through them. You can be in a Viking village or a great hall, and you see all of these people in these incredible costumes. It is like a fantasy of it all coming to life, which none of it was lost on me. I was squealing inside every day. The wonderful thing about creating a world like Berk is you have the opportunity to not only research in real life. We flew around Iceland and the Faroe Islands and Scotland. You gather all of these amazing locations and you can meld them in any way you want. But the goal is to create a place that people want to be. They want to spend time with your characters. And so that level of immersion was the goal from the beginning. And then really it falls upon the actors to make it feel authentic and truthful and not like a costume play. And you know, that's for me the greatest education of it all, is to sort of sit back and watch that magic happen after you've done all of the preparation. I think the scene that is most poignant is when Hiccup is listening to his father regale all of the Vikings of Berk on essentially his graduation day. And he's talking about his pride for his son, but he's also making jabs at him. And as everybody's laughing, we put the camera on Mason's face, and you could see the way that mockery and that ridicule was affecting him. And I thought it was so truthfully done that it was very stirring, because I was a kid like that, you know. And I think anyone who's ever been an outsider will respond to Hiccup from that point of view. I think when it comes to Toothless, people respond to him because we've put so many cat and dog videos into his performance. We would spend all day just searching the internet for the cutest and funniest and oddest cat and dog behaviors, and put them into Toothless, knowing that we wanted to evoke that kind of reaction from the audience. So if you say, oh, my dog does that, or my cat does that, or my horse does that, then goal accomplished. So we wanted him to both be ferocious, but a big cuddly pet at the same time.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. ScreamingMovieNight.com